Sticking with the Raptors, Nor, Pascal Siakam. I mentioned that if he can be consistent with his defense, that would be great. Let's talk about his game from an overall perspective. Coming back into the mix, slow start. Now he's starting to find his rhythm a little bit on both ends. There's been a lot of slander, as you know, on Twitter. You're a big Twitter personality. You see it. Do you think it's fair that people have been slandering Siakam, especially when this team couldn't win a game with him back in the lineup?
I think context gets lost so much on these discussions, and that's when it's kind of dangerous too. Like, it's almost as if you're not able to call out, just be like, hey, I think this player is better than that. I think he can play better than that. It's almost like you can't say that. Like, you should be able to say that, especially if you understand that this is not who Pascal is. We've seen Pascal before. We know who he is as a player. We know what he's able to provide on the court. So I think it's okay to expect better from him. It's not like you're his mom, you're yelling at him. It's also just like, well, this is Pascal. This is what he came out as. I think he can do better. On the other side, there are people that take it too far, but I think this is just how fan bases are. That's how everything works. You can't really gatekeep or patrol how someone feels about something, especially when it comes to sports. And no offense, but these are grown men, right? Like, I think they'll be okay. I think they'll be fine. And I think that if anything, this is like, they're used to it, right? And if anything, this makes them realize that these are, especially the good ones, that these are fans that want to see the team win. They have a big stake on how this team does, and they're passionate people. Of course, people take it too far, but I think it's okay to expect something out of him. Like, we did lose like every game since he got back. So there was a comment to make about that, a discussion to be had about that, and it's okay to have those discussions. That to say that that's Pascal really as a player? No, we've seen Pascal. We know he's better, which is why I think that these comments come up, because you're just like, it's so weird that this is the version that we're getting to see of him. And I think it's even these conversations get worse because we haven't seen that version of Pascal in a while, right? Like, not this season, not last season. It's been probably since the bubble, if that. If anything, it was when they were back in Toronto before COVID happened, was when really Pascal was Pascal. So it's been a while since we've seen Pascal be himself. So I think it's okay to expect the level of production that you saw from him, which is every single fan base and of any single team would feel that way about their star player, right? But that's no knock on Siakam. I think if anything, he's gonna come back. He's gonna be better. He's going to elevate his game again, which he always does every single year. His trajectory is so much better than the year before, which is why he's won those MIP campaigns. Is there a concern with whether he's your number one or not? I think that's a different conversation. What about you, Luca?
Yeah, it's a very interesting thing to dive into. Listen, this is my take on this. If you can provide fair criticism, I think that's okay. They are pro athletes. You can't be overly protective of them. I guess, the Canadians and us, we're sometimes too polite, but you look at the money that he's making, that automatically warrants you looking at him differently than you do any other player. So if Siakam does have an off game and you can provide points as to why he's not a good fit necessarily for now, I think that's fair. Now, there is the slander and criticism that is very unfair. The one example that comes to mind is that game against the Blazers that the Raptors lost. Scotty Barnes had 2 key turnovers in the final minute, and people were blaming Pascal Siakam. Like, that's taking it out of line. That's taking it too far. But if you can fairly analyze his game and pinpoint where he needs to work on, what he needs to improve on, yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. At the end of the day, we got to, treat Siakam as a main guy on this team. He's making main guy money, and he is coming into his own. The last couple of games, I've been impressed by him, especially in that game against Memphis. In the first half, his defense was subpar, but in the second half, his playmaking, his offense, and his defense was playing at the level that you expect him to play at. So if we can see that version of Siakam moving forward, yeah, there's not going to be a whole lot to pinpoint from his game. But if we do see the Siakam that doesn't make winning plays late, that is inconsistent late, that is a liability on defense, then you will continue to see the criticism that you see of him online. So I think if you go about it the right way, it is definitely fair. It's sports media. We're allowed to judge the players on what we see. But if you do take it out of line, then yeah, that's just wrong. And then you're just hating Siakam as the person more than anything, and that's not cool.